going to be talking about today is 6 quick tips to help you stay pain-free on the trail. And this is more so related to the type of gear and kind of your strategy so that you can reduce pain. Not necessarily exercises or any of those things. Those are for other videos. So go ahead and check out my channel if you haven't done so already. Today we'll talk about 6 quick tips so that you can reduce your back pain on the trail. First is get a fitted backpack. So you can see behind me I have my Osprey Atmos 65 AG. You can get those, fitted at your local REI or other backcountry type store, and you're just going to get fitted so that based on your torso size as well as your height and weight and everything like that, it fits you perfectly. If you have the wrong fitting backpack, it oftentimes feels uncomfortable. Typically, these backpacks should feel really comfortable when you're on the trail unless you're overweighing them. So just keep that in mind with the type of backpack that you're choosing, and then choose the type of backpack based on whatever type of trip you're going on. So typically your average backpack liters, this is a 65 liters. That's typically good for a 2 to 5 day backpacking trip. So that's usually the most common size. Next, let's talk about gear placement. As far as your gear placement goes, you'll see a lot of literature online talking about how to reduce back pain, addressing posture. And in general, posture isn't always associated to your back pain or anything like that. People, for years have either been forward flex posture or, they've been really straight as a board, and it doesn't matter. Generally, it's more so you get pain by spending too much time in a specific position. And it's the same thing with hiking. So with gear placement, it's super important because with these hikes and backpacking, you're going hours on end wearing a backpack, and it puts you in a specific position. So what you want is you want your gear as close to the center of gravity as possible. You don't want it too high, you don't want it too low. For the reason is if you have it too low, it's going to tip you backwards. If you have it too high, it's generally going to tip you forwards. And so also with the weight, you want the weight closer to your back, not out in front, because that is also going to pull you backwards. And the more that you either leaning backwards or forwards, just the more that your core and your back muscles are having to work, which generally causes you to have some low back pain. Another way that you can reduce low back pain is just using trekking poles, like the ones that I have behind me here. Trekking poles, what they'll do is they allow you to have some external support, and it allows you to load a little bit of weight through your arms, taking some pressure off your core and your back. But the primary reason that they help is that it'll help you maintain better biomechanics climbing and descending terrain by giving you that external support to help dig in or slow yourself down when you're doing that sort of elevation gain or loss. Next is super important. This is more comes to your ego. So how do you reduce back pain on the trails is related to do you have an accurate representation of what you're capable of? So if you're a brand new beginner, maybe you shouldn't go out on a 15-mile backpacking trip or hike with a backpack fully loaded and you don't know how much weight's in it or anything like that. What happens is your muscles are not used to it and you fatigue and you're likely going to get pain. Now, it's not because of something that you did wrong or, that sort of thing. It's generally just like anything else. If you were to run a marathon today or run a mile even, and you're not used to it, you're going to be pretty sore. So just to reduce your back pain in the future, you want to not bite off more than you can chew. Instead, just choose something that's more in your experience level, something that maybe doesn't have as much elevation gain, but maybe is a little more mileage, maybe, depending on whatever fits you skill level wise. Resistance training. Resistance training is super important. So being a physical therapist and a strength coach, there are specific muscles that people as hikers and backpackers generally have weakness with. And I won't go over that too in depth in this video, but typically your front of your hips are just overactive and other hip muscles are inactive, leading to more pain when you're doing hikes in your knees and your hips, just because you're lacking either the stability or the strength, and you don't have the flexibility either in those muscles. Sleep system is super important. So recovery is important in any fact of life. But with sleep, we really want to make sure that our sleep system is set up good for you. So there's multiple different types of sleeping pads. There are thick ones, thin ones. There's the more camping style backpacks. There's the ultralight style. All of them are different, and each different brand has a different, fits people differently. So if you're a side sleeper, you might want something a little thicker. If you're a back sleeper, you need to keep in mind the curve of your back. So is that, typically they're air mattress pads. Is it going to create a big arch in your back? That sort of thing. And what we find as a physical therapist, that people have more arch in their back, they will wake up with back pain the next day in the morning because they weren't used to having this compression or put the pad pushing against their back. It's just the way that it is. So you kind of want to search for something that can get you the right firmness or softness that you need. So those are the 6 quick tips that you can use to, as more so, like I said, as far as gear selection and choice, and just in general choice of trails to help you reduce pain for your next adventure. Please go ahead, comment below if I forgot something, or if you think that something else would be really important for people to know. Go ahead, like the video if you liked it, or like this type of content, and go ahead and subscribe. Tell me what you want to see next. It'd be really helpful. Thank you so much, guys. See you on the trails. Have a good one.